In this demo, we'll learn how to issue an embargo or OPSL note in the AAR embargo system. Embargoes are used by railroads to issue instructions to temporarily control traffic movements and amend and cancel embargoes and grant permissions to embargo destinations. The difference between an embargo and an OPSL is that an embargo is temporary and an OPSL note applies for more than 1 year. Once you've been given access to the embargo system, log into railink.com from the Launchpad and select AAR Embargo OPSL Permit System. From the menu bar, select Embargoes, Issue Embargo. To issue an OPSL note, select OPSL Notes and Issue OPSL Note. The form and function are basically the same. Some general rules apply. Embargo officers can only issue embargoes for their own roads. Security embargoes are effective immediately and are issued by the AAR. Let's look at the General Embargo Information section of the form. All fields with an asterisk are required to issue an embargo. The issuing road is the road issuing the embargo. Checking the operating station notice only sends an email to the affected parties with notice of intent, and no EDI 824 hold notifications are issued. When the operating station notice is checked, allow permits defaults to no and bypass local waybills defaults to yes. The effective date defaults to the day the embargo is being issued and can be changed before it's submitted. The expiration date will always be 1 year from the issue date and it cannot be changed. Checking the Effective Immediately box makes the embargo effective immediately following AAR approval. Embargoes can only be effective immediately for emergency reasons. If you don't check this box, then the embargo becomes effective at midnight, 48 hours after AAR approval. Selecting Yes to allow permits allows permit requests for the issued embargo to be submitted so approved traffic can be controlled. When Yes is chosen, the permit contact email URL field appears. Selecting No to bypass local waybills means that non-interlining waybills will be matched against embargoes and will receive an EDI 824 hold notification. Select Include Empty Revenue Cars to include empty revenue car waybills in the embargo. If empty, the equipment is applied against the embargo just like a load. Include All Empty Cars is only used for weather conditions, derailment, or bridge out of service. All revenue and non-revenue empty cars will be matched against embargoes. You can invite other roads to participate in the embargo by adding them to the Participating Roads field and enter a note that will only be visible to them in the Notes field. Railroads to be included as participating roads will be suggested by the application during submission if they might be affected by the embargo. Participating roads will only have the ability to add or remove their own stations if they choose to participate. When Min or Max Car Allowed is checked, a field appears where you can enter the minimum or maximum number of cars allowed. In the Cause section, choose the cause for the embargo. For this example, we'll choose weather conditions and enter the cause details. You can use the Additional Notes field for further clarification. There are 4 required criteria that make up an embargo. Commodity is what is being transported. Geography is where it's coming from and going to. Equipment is how it's being transported, and waybill parties determines who is transporting it. When creating an embargo, it's important to know that a waybill must match all 4 of these criteria, or the waybill will not receive an EDI 824 hold notification. The hold notification tells the waybill sender that an embargo exists and why their waybill is impacted. If the embargo allows it, the sender can request a permit number which can be added to the waybill to bypass the embargo. In the commodity section, search and select certain commodities or target all commodities. When you select target all commodities, it gives you the option to choose ones to exclude. The geography section can be broken into 3 sections. The first set of boxes for origin and destination are stations to include. Select the bidirectional checkbox to have the specified locations applied to both origin and destination. Anywhere you see these types of buttons in the form, click the plus sign to add and the trash can icon to remove rows as needed. The second set of boxes for origin and destination are the stations not to include. And the third section is for interchanges that can be included. The and/or option applies only to the geography section. Selecting or means that when waybills are compared against the embargo, the route will be considered along with the origin and the destination stations. If the waybill route indicates the specified interchange, the waybill will be stopped by this embargo. If you select and, it has to match both station and interchange. You can select an existing template or create a new template to use. The equipment section allows you to target all types of equipment, or certain types, or group types, or by field status as it appears in the UMLR application. For this example, we'll choose to target tank cars. For weight restrictions, use the total weight on rail drop-down to specify weight or equipment dimensions. You can specify cars that should be exempt from this weight restrictions in the Except These Cars field. The waybill section allows you to target select or all waybill parties. When you target all waybill parties, you can include or exclude certain parties by entering one or more CIF numbers. The default includes any waybill parties that you want to include. You have the option to select all CIFs. When all is selected, all CIFs for each patron listed here must be listed on the waybill to receive an EDI 824 hold. Waybill parties must be designated using the checkboxes to the right of the CIF. Once the appropriate fields are entered, select Issue Embargo. You'll be prompted to select the button again to confirm you're ready to issue the embargo. If errors are displayed, you'll be returned to the form to edit and fix the appropriate fields. Newly issued embargoes remain in the pending status until approved by the AAR administrator. For more details on the fields or the embargo process, refer to the AAR Embargoes User Guide and FAQ by selecting Help from the menu bar. That wraps up this demonstration on how to issue an embargo or OPSL note in the AAR embargo system. Contact us for more information.